You know, healthcare is a tough business. Costs are high, and sometimes you don't get reimbursed for what you spend. And that is why many small rural hospitals across the country have closed.
But one of these hospitals here in the Piedmont is not only surviving, it's thriving, due in part to tonight's Newsmaker. She's a millennial, just 34 years old. 7.5 months ago, she became this hospital's president and CEO. And as I found out recently, she's just getting started.
I think this is going to be a great story.
The northern Rockingham County city of Eden, population a little more than 15,500.
I have been so welcomed. The people have been so kind.
The one thing that has been as consistent over the years as Eden's small community charm and the rivers that roll through it has been the hospital, whose billboards greet you as you ride into town.
Eden, like small towns across America, has had its share of difficult times. And the hospital is such an important part of this community. Hey ladies, how are you? Hey Sarah, hey Kim.
It's that consistency and intimacy that attracted Dana Weston to Morehead Memorial Hospital in the first place.
When you come to Morehead, you're not a number. You're a person every single time that you walk in the door.
That everyone's important philosophy is what her parents instilled in her while growing up in St. Louis. Her mom was an educator, her dad a janitor, whom she'd often follow along on the job.
My dad would tell us while we were cleaning the buildings, this company has a CEO and a janitor. Both of us could choose to not come to work for 2 days in a row, and the company's only going to miss one of us.
Weston came to Morehead after spending more than 7 years doing strategic planning for Novant Health, which handles all of Morehead's management operations.
Why is this needed in today's healthcare environment?
It's easier to do things when you are larger. So what that means is that we have access to the corporate resources, to some of the purchasing contracts, to the quality that is within Novant Health, but they haven't purchased us. We are still independent.
But that doesn't mean Morehead has been exempt from challenges. When Weston arrived, it had survived years of financial turmoil and leadership turnover. Getting reimbursed fairly for the services it provides in this and other rooms has been tough. And while the Affordable Care Act has been helpful in terms of giving more people access to health insurance,
the challenge was, especially in our community, as people did sign up for the healthcare exchanges, they had very high deductibles. And when you have deductibles that high, for some people it was really the same as them being uninsured. For those who are either unemployed or underemployed that don't have health insurance coverage through their employer, it's really a struggle in today's environment to have health care coverage that's sufficient and that's affordable.
But Weston and her team still have to focus on finding ways to financially support services the hospital's customers demand. Services like OB/GYN. This is the only hospital in the county that delivers babies.
The hospital is full of people who are sick, who didn't want to be here, except this floor. It's the one place in the hospital where people are excited to come. So you want to create an open, almost like a home environment.
Weston says while growth in healthcare is largely on the outpatient side, it's unlikely you'll see Morehead grow in terms of numbers of beds, as illustrated on this growth history display. But there are always more services to offer that'll keep people from driving to larger cities. And there are always the things small hospitals have that their larger big city counterparts don't.
I would like to be here to see this hospital grow, to see the hospital thrive, to see our team get back to the way that I used to hear the community talk about the hospital. Folks tell stories about on Sundays where you used to not be able to get into the cafeteria here because this was the place that everybody came after church for lunch. And so we want to make sure that for every person that walks through our door, we're providing that trusted care and that they're getting it close to home without having to drive quite a ways for care.
And that, Weston says, is Morehead's niche. And since small rural hospitals don't have the luxury of volume, scale, or large numbers of patients, maintaining that niche will be crucial. And it won't be easy, especially when it comes to recruiting doctors and nurses away from the big cities. Weston just hopes Morehead's facilities and services, along with Eden's small town charm, will continue to attract those future employees just like they did her.